I have no audio. I have no video.
I know.
Testing. Can you hear us?
I can hear, and I have video.
There we go. Awesome.
Thank you. I lost audio.
One second, just one second. I don't know if you guys can hear us. This is my mic check 1 2 1 2. Can anyone hear us on Zoom? Yes.
Yes.
I head's nodding yes. Okay, great. And you can see us. We're good?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, we're rolling. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. No, all good. All right, where'd I leave off? We did our Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll just move on into the roll call. So starting with Sarah Wenger, Suzanne Spellin, Anthony Moen, sorry, I skipped over. James Rath. Here. And Bill Comiskey.
Here.
All right. And Roddy Yagan also present. Okay. And then moving on to
Yeah, could you dim this?
Phil, if you don't mind, please mute your mic. All right, moving on to minutes. Minutes were distributed previously to the commission. Are there any comments or questions, corrections? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, second. Moving to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, passes. Okay. Moving on, we have to my agenda. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 items on the consent agenda. Typically, we will approve these in batches. I know we need to split off at least one of them for one of the commissioners to recuse themselves. And then I think I would like to move item PLPC 2022 0103 for 908 River Street to new business. Anyone else have any other issues or any problem with that?
The only other one I was talking about was 400 River Street. It's been vacant for a long time. It's going to be a sizable project. I don't know if any other commissioners feel the need to discuss it.
I'm okay to move it to new business if you'd like to.
Well, if I'm the only one, that's fine.
My understanding on it was it's all interior changes,
It
so
is,
just floor plan stuff, but yeah, let's move it. We'll be able to ask some questions on it. I'm good. I would ask some
Okay.
questions
All
about
right,
work hours. Okay, so the remainder, and Suzanne, which one was it that you need to recuse for? It is 106. Yeah, 106. The land bank one. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I get a motion on, or has anyone from the public come today to discuss any of the consent agenda items? Or on Zoom? That's PLPC 2022-0102 for 301 Hoosick Street. PLPC 2022-0104 for 340 Congress Street. PLPC 2022-0105 for 400 River. And PLPC 2022-0106 for 3209 through 3211 7th Avenue. And PLPC 2021-0034 for 545, 549, and 558 River Street.
Yes,
Okay, which item did you come for?
the 0104, 340 Congress Street.
340 Congress Street. Oh, that's the applicant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just to clarify, if you're just the applicant, you're not required to speak, but if you do have something you say, you're welcome to have us move it to new business. You can speak on the.
Oh, okay, thank you. I thought you were just looking for confirmation that I was present. Sorry about that.
gotcha. No, just if anyone came to discuss it or, had comments they needed to make on the proposals. Otherwise, we can move on those items to approve.
I am recusing myself from PLPC 2022-1016, the 3209 through 3211 7th Avenue.
So for the remainder, 0102, 0104, 0106, outside of Suzanne, and 0034. Can I have a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
It's on, it's just very soft. I'll try to speak into the mic.
Okay, we had a second. So moving to a vote. Bill? Jane? James?
Yes.
Anthony?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yeah.
I also vote yes. Passes. Okay. And then I'd like to move the others to new business. Do we have to do a motion or anything, or we just carry them in a different?
Yeah.
Okay,
You set the agenda, so
okay,
you can do that.
great. I put that in the list I just went through. Correct. Okay. Do we want to get Suzanne back?
I'll grab her.
Thank you. Okay, on to old business. Our first, actually, no, we start with old business, right? Okay, so old business is PLPC 2022-0078 for Troy Atrium, 04th Street. Applicant is present today to present an update for us.
May I suggest that we let the applicant for 340 Congress know that that project has been approved?
Sure. Are you on the call? That's
Carrie.
Yes, I'm present.
okay. Your item, your consent item was approved. So if you need to leave, you can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That goes for anybody else on the call who was here for one of the consent agenda items.
The other consent agenda items we're still going to be discussing are again 0103 for 908 River and for 0105 for 400 River Street. Those will move and discuss in new business. Okay, back to you guys. Thank you. Getting the presentation loaded, just so people online know. It'll be shared in a second.
We're almost there. Yep. All good? Good evening. My name is Brian Ostrow with Environmental Design Partnership, and I'm here with Ken Syvertson from Syvertson Raguso Architecture. We're here tonight. Last month we were here to just kind of give you an update of the changes that we were making. Ken's been working hard at some of the architectural comments and some of the other comments that have come up during the last couple of meetings on this project. And so we just wanted to provide those to you tonight, although we're getting an error message. Never seen before.
We figured that out last meeting. I don't remember what it was, though. We heard you.
Right.
No, I didn't do this.
Yeah, I've never.
No.
I'm not a good measure, but the size and its material choices.
I feel like we can still see the application with that error.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
What is it? Oh, that's
Yep. No, you're fine. So anyways, again, we're here to talk about the redevelopment of the southern half of the atrium, which is it's bordered by 3rd, 4th, and Broadway, right in downtown Troy. For the applicant, the Bryce Companies, who owns the property. So comments that we've received from the Planning Commission during previous meetings were a lot of talk about activation and kind of like an energy along Broadway and trying to engage the public in that area and get some interest down there. To that end, and again, we'll go through the updated floor plans and renderings with you. That space that's going to be on the 1st floor along Broadway, the applicant has been talking with the farmers market, and there's plans to bring them to that space along Broadway. For dedicated areas with appropriate utilities, some might want some water hookups, electric and so forth. There was a heavy discussion on the architectural elements. We are in the historic review district. Ken got a positive recommendation, which hopefully the Planning Commission has received back from the HRC on November 9th, 2022 with the revised renderings. So we're hopeful that you agree with the architectural changes that have been done, which Ken can talk about, was talk about rooftop use and whether or not we could add that, which you'll see in the renderings. We believe we can, specifically in the corner of Broadway and it'd be Third, right? Yeah, Broadway and Third. And then additional landscaping and enhancements to the pedestrian sidewalk sections of Broadway. And you'll see that there's a concept rendering that we wanted to present tonight with additional street trees, cafe seating, and performing area. So this is an updated rendering of the new colors, the scheme, and so forth, which we'll get into more renderings of this in a second, and Ken can talk to it. But as you'll notice, this is kind of that engagement along Broadway, the public engagement with the enhancement of the first floor space to increase the farmers market. You'll see the rooftop in the corner of Broadway and Third, use up there. And this is just another view of that. Again, from the floor plan standpoint, we reworked, or Ken reworked the space along Broadway. And actually it extends up along Third Street as well to accommodate the farmers market in these areas. This is the same plan generally that we presented before in terms of the second, third, and fourth floors with the apartment layouts. Mixture of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. And then this is the 5th floor. And you'll notice that in the corner here on Broadway and Third is the possible outdoor rooftop area. It's actually shown here as a combination of both outdoor and kind of an indoor enclosed area. That's still being played with in terms of budget and affordability on that, but it's something that the applicant really does like that comment and is committed to providing in some fashion. Again, from the enhancements along Broadway landscaping, you can see that, you know, we've really added a lot of trees down in this area. Kind of a performance space to go along with. There's usually performances with the Tri-Market. So we're talking about adding some of those spaces in here. And again, that's just surface treatment. There's nothing kind of special construction or anything associated with that. And then, you know, pedestrian seating and benches, you know, along that way. But you can see I think we really green it up from what it currently is and really kind of engage the public in that area, with the farmers market. And I'll hand over to Ken to talk about the elevations and materials.
Interest. And sit back. So one of the things that we kind of took away from our first presentation was that nobody really liked the feel of a big building popped in the middle of the city of Troy, right? So we went to HRC, and after we met with them and talked with them for about an hour, it kind of dawned on us that, you know, we really needed to break up this elevation. And we said at the time that we're going to go ahead and make 3 buildings. We ended up actually making 4 buildings. So, you know, starting on the northwest corner along 3rd Street, we came up with a building that has like travertine type tile on the first floor that kind of matches a little bit of the Masonic temple that's, or is it Mason temple across the street? And then we go with some more modern materials for floors 2, 3, and 4, and then we break it up with a penthouse suite on the top. It's really just to give that elevation a little bit more variety versus typical, you know, one of the comments we heard was like the standard 1/4. So then moving south, we came up with what a little bit of a building that we're calling like the Jewel, where it's sort of like a nice little decorative element on the corner, which has the rooftop activity space. And it really helps anchor that corner. It's trying to do a little bit of a modern interpretation of the materials. You know, you have marble on the freer building. So we have a variated color scheme of panels of grays and whites on the corner there with medium bronze windows and hopefully some bronze accents. Going to the Broadway elevation, that's really what we're considering our, like our market block type building. Where it's really where all the activity of the farmer's market is really gonna, we're hoping that we can close down the street on Saturdays again. Here, in addition to the one, and then the building number 4 is actually the one that's on 4th Street. And it wraps from the start of Broadway across the back along 4th Street. So that was the revised design concept versus just the one big building that you saw 2 months ago. It's been designed so in such a way that all the farmer market type spaces are between you and the parking. So the only parking you really have is the entry road up in the northeast corner. So there's our market block building, building 2, the Jewel on the left-hand side. And the rooftop terrace, we're hoping, as Brian said, that we can afford it. We may need to redesign it a little bit, but right now with 99 units, we're hoping that we can put that in there. We like the lower elevation anchoring that corner anyway. So that's what we're shooting to do there. And you can see building 4 starting on the right-hand side of that image. And that's 3rd Street. Your color renditions on the screen are a little different. And this is a view that only residents of that's on the inside where all the parking is, the courtyard. So here's the view along 4th Street with Broadway and 4th. Oh, of course, it's right in the middle. So there you can kind of see how the building kind of plays with the entire streetscape and the existing atrium with the new skin on the atrium. Yeah, for a second.
Would you zoom into the center, but move it down so we don't have that yellow box overlaying the project in it?
I think I remember how we figured that out. It was that you had to share the entire screen rather than just the application. You know how you can share screen
Or vice
versus a
versa.
program, yeah, or vice versa. I think that's what it was.
Well, you could also just take it out of the presentation mode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fortunately.
Stop sharing them. Yeah. That is Zoom.
You able to see the shared screen? Phil, can you give us a thumbs up? Great, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done with that.
It's great.
And we got rid of the yellow square.
If I may, I'd like to jump in with a comment. 2 comments. The first is, I think that the way that you're anchoring the corners is, particularly the Broadway and Third corner, is really strong. I think you referred to it as building number 3 that is running the majority of the length of Broadway. To me, seems like an anomaly, and it's not using the same palette or modularity that's in the other 3 buildings. Especially in that the treatment of the first 2 levels is different from the treatment of the upper 3 levels, whereas on all of the other buildings, you've got this base of storefront that is sort of carrying the upper 4 levels. The red just isn't making sense to me at all. Because it's not brick, right? Unless you correct me. If it's brick, then I might feel differently, but I don't.
The first 2 stories are brick, and then we're playing off brick patterns in a variegated colored tiles inside those inserts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the upper 3 just aren't, they're not making sense. They're sort of almost an Art Deco style to the other 3 buildings it's working really well together. And maybe even on the upper levels of building 3, but the color palette is just really different. That is my reaction to this. The other, I'm going to jump in and point out something that I hadn't noticed a month ago, which is this project now exposes let me get the right spot. Can we go to that aerial rendering?
The one we just had up?
Yes, thank you.
It's the south facade of the atrium.
The south facade of the atrium is one unrelenting facade of metal panel with nothing on it. And I think that that's a concern.
So that's actually on the property line. Actually, the atrium is over the property line. It's actually on our property.
But correct me if I'm wrong. You're pulling building off of that existing wall construction.
Right.
So you can either leave an unfinished wall, which obviously isn't going to be acceptable, or replace the facade with something.
Well, there's no wall there now. It's exposed columns.
That is new wall.
That's all new wall.
I have to think that that is not acceptable. I don't know if any of the other commissioners or members of the public noticed that, but can we zoom into that?
We talked about this in the first meeting briefly, and we didn't go into detail on it, but it was a strange thing that was pointed out.
And it was a requirement because of the properties.
Well, from
Yeah.
their arguments, but put up a wall, which
But I
is,
mean-
makes sense, but
The city owns.
what the wall is not
Yeah.
something we had discussed.
Yeah,
I think Brady had mentioned something about access for maintenance, or maybe Aaron did. Yeah.
That said, I don't think we had concluded on it.
No.
It's not like we're done discussing it.
And I actually think a rendering of that wall was submitted
I think
as
in
part of the original application. Back in September. That's right.
I mean, it was just a gray rectangle.
Solid wall.
Correct.
It's a solid wall.
This, yeah, I got it. This one.
That's not very friendly. I realize I totally realize it's in the parking lot, but still, that is an imposing, bizarre facade.
Yeah, I think whoever it was who made, whether it was Aaron or
It wasn't about the wall
it
so
wasn't about
much.
the wall of access, but
Right.
the design of the wall itself, I mean, is gonna be a concern once we get beyond the conceptual phase.
And so right, so what's happening in the atrium should kind of inform somehow what's happening on that facade. And it's a mystery.
So let's circle back to it. Let's start with the other portions that you came to. You get the rest of the commissioners wanna give comment?
Well, I just wanted to ask, would like clarity from your comment on, is it a negative in your opinion that they don't fit in together in some way, or am I mischaracterizing?
I think you're not at all. I think my trouble is primarily in the fact that the masonry, which I appreciate, and built, I'm just gonna keep calling it building
It is building.
is it's reaching up 2 stories instead of 1, which is just, it's not unheard of, but it's unusual on this streetscape.
But it's not a comment about how they relate to one another.
Not sure I understand you, James.
I thought that you had said something about how the facades on Third and Fourth look a certain way and how Broadway deviates from that, and that seemed to be a negative. But now it's just about the facade on
It's
Broadway on its
primarily
own.
that, but I am definitely reacting to the fact that it's like, look, that red is popping off.
Okay.
Where you've got all these other cool gray and charcoal and almost bluish tones. Very, just a different kind of monumental character to them. And then this long expanse that has this very different rhythm just doesn't seem to work with them. That's my reaction. And even though the facades are treated differently, and they are reading as different buildings, the roof level is nearly continuous, so it's just awkward in some way.
I wonder if so are all the apartment units along the upper floor, is the top floor what, 4th floor? 5th floor? Along the top 5th floor, are all the units the same layout interior wise?
As the floor below.
Or amongst each other along the floor?
Yeah, different.
So what I would ask is, maybe does it make sense to have a setback along the 5th floor to allow maybe balcony space for one of the units?
We're not gonna be able to afford that.
Not changing the actual unit, or by that I mean not changing how many units there are, but designating some of its space. I think that would break up that wall along the front.
I think that the thing that bothers me the most, is the masonry going up 2 stories, and then the fenestration on the 2nd story just seems like an afterthought. If I needed to limit my.
Are the second floor windows that you're talking about, are those apartment windows or is that parking lot still?
It's all apartments.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Sarah. Also, am I correct in thinking that the building that goes around on Fourth, is that basically the same as the one that's on Third?
Nope.
In design?
It's a different building.
So that's on page 7 of the PDF that we have,
Yeah.
Suzanne.
What is the fabrication of those sort of bricky looking things in the corner building?
Which building?
The corner building,
Which corner?
the one that wraps around Third and Broadway, the one with the roof deck.
That has, it's hopefully a granite or cast stone base, and then it goes to fiber cement panels above that.
Okay.
I really like the way that end looks. The west edge. Yeah, this elevation is helpful. If you kind of just pull it or zoom in so that the elevation takes up the screen.
Yeah, the two flanking corner buildings are so,
Just
they're really quite monumental and. you know,
interesting.
Talking to the little banks that we have throughout this city. And I think they work really nice. Completion on your screen, you know, digital rendering of, of color is so tough. The more I look at it, the more I like. Levels. It's just that streetscape. The two levels of streetscape on that building.
What do you want, the tan versus?
Response to getting away from the 401.
401. Yeah.
Is that at all
Yep.
accurate?
Yeah.
People wanted to talk to Quackenbush. People didn't want to talk to Quackenbush. HRC involved. So it's a difficult balance. I mean, I'm an engineer, I'm not the architect.
And there's not one obvious direction, so it's understandable that you're trying to tie in all these different threads, but it seemed.
I think this has taken a massive step in the right direction as well. I think we're getting closer here. It's just about figuring out some of the parts that still stick out. And I agree that when, for me visually, when I look at this, it's specifically that portion of building 3 that stands out as something else needs to be figured out here. And I'm not sure if it's the color palette of the red brick not agreeing with the darker red. I find the darker an attractive match to the darker grays throughout the rest of the building. Maybe it's the color of the brick that if it were a darker brick, perhaps it
There's a
might,
blend at Glengarry. It's actually called Albany brick.
and that's what that
That's
is.
actually what it's supposed to be, but obviously you're looking at a render. It's a very deep red,
Mhm.
flashes of a lot of flash to it. This is looking more orangey on your screen.
It might stand out less if it just was,
It's supposed to be
Rendered
a
at-
deep red color.
yeah.
So not the tan.
It's definitely not a tan brick.
Okay. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's a dark red brick. You know, think of like the Meridian's building or something.
Let's talk about how there's the 2 horizontal bands of brick that go across, because that also sticks out to me, not necessarily as bad, it just catches my eye in a certain way. Does that pose any kind of visual question to the rest of the commissioners? In between the columns, the horizontal beam of brick essentially that goes across?
Personally, I prefer the theme you have going with the, I guess, I don't know what you call it, with the stripes with the panels. I'd like that to go all the way down to the first floor and get rid of that horizontal thing that's going through there.
What's the horizontal thing? Um,
You have the horizontal lines, the second floor with the big bay windows. And for me, if you just extended what you've got going on the top two floors all the way down to the first floor, that would look less.
Couldn't extend it onto the actual ground floor.
No, not.
No, not
Top of the first
Right.
floor.
Yes, not the ground.
Then you're at your 1/4.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. is we end up looking back.
Yeah, but
And it's gonna make the building look short and squatty, quite honestly.
to me, that just looks like you didn't know what to do and you had to do something to make it look different. I wouldn't mind the 1/4 look if it made sense to do it that way. I mean, I know we have there's only a little wiggle room here. I don't know.
So maybe just pick a different brick.
I think it's the brick is not
Yeah.
rendering well. It's really a deep red
Well, that's
bicentennial,
certainly-
like 1700 style.
Oh, and that red band, I'm sorry, the red band is the awning.
Yes.
Those are awnings.
Okay.
I'm a
Which
little
I'm not a fan
confused.
of.
Are the windows on the second floor?
You're asleep?
That would
They're in the apartments.
Been keeping busy lately?
cover-
You been keeping busy lately?
So could you mute again?
I couldn't hear you.
Never mind, you're muted. Don't touch.
The windows on the second floor apartments where the brick is, are they,
Yep.
is that glass through the whole expanse or? is it
Oh, no, there's
a
panels
window
between them. Yeah,
and
there's
a
wall
light
between them.
above?
Yeah.
Because I heard them referred to as bay windows, but
No, they're not.
they're just,
No.
just like the other windows.
Correct.
So are you able to zoom in even more close on that building 3, first 2 stories for us? Yep, keep going even more. Make it quite large. I don't need to see the rest. Keep going, and then, yep. There we go. Even more if you would. I'm picky. That's good. That's good. And then down. So you see how there's 2 bands horizontally of brick that go across. Is there any suggestion here, or does anyone think it would be better or worse without both bands of the brick going horizontally? No, the bottom red, the darker red color is the awning. Then right above that, there's a row of brick. Nope, below, yes, there you go. Those 2. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
The bottom one was just your dark charcoal panel.
Mm.
That is in between the windows.
The same color or another shade of gray?
I would be fine if it were charcoal. So all you have in brick are these piers and this one band that is supporting level 3 and above.
I feel like that might be better.
Yeah.
Play with that, yeah. I like the pedestal, and I like that it comes up 2 stories because if we pull the view back out, I like the change in how the building moves and has some articulation in height from, I don't remember the building numbers, the Jewel on the left, and then whatever the building number is on the corner of 4th and Broadway.
So that's really 2 things, changing the brick color and looking at replacing that intermediate horizontal band of brick infill panel, excuse me, with something else, probably the charcoal panel.
What about the 2 bays on the left of building 3? This is a pattern that we pretty much always see in new construction where they have this one articulated, is it a pier?
Mm.
And when I look at that, it stands out to me because when you look at any old building in Troy, whether it's like Billiam, the Quackenbush, or the Gurley or anything, none of them have this one pier that jumps out. The building is consistent all the way around. To me, that dates the building very clearly. And I think if we're just straight up consistent without that, those two dark red, better, it would fit in the historical context of the city better.
I think this is more of a play on having like a central arcade that goes up 2-3 stories as an entry point. And then I don't know about removing the horizontal brick because I do think that that may make the columns seem a little too slender at their widths. If it's 2 stories, you know, by 26 feet wide by 2 stories high, it might make the columns feel too slender. But we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I like how the entrance of the building is clear from afar because of that arcade play that you're calling it. But I think that
It's actually representing what's going on with the swoop on the Quackenbush building across the street. There's a significant axis between the Freer building, this building, and the Quackenbush, and this is tying all 3 of those things together.
but on the Quackenbush building and the Freer building, there's no deviation, right? It's a
No, on the
consistent
top of the building,
facade
there's an element there.
on the Quackenbush building
Yep.
specifically.
Yep.
But isn't that swoop then consistent across
Nope.
the entire structure? No. Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to take a look.
Nah,
The other thing I wanted to talk about are the decorative gates. You guys want to just give us a explanation on that form or
Well, currently, right,
function?
you mean what they're made out of, or
Well,
why are they there? or-
yeah, how do they
Um,
work? What are they used for?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a request by the farmer's market so that they can open up. There's an arcade, as you see, inside along Broadway. It's gonna allow people to mill in and out among the vendors. Did they say 2 days a week? Wednesdays and Saturdays? Yep.
Are we talking about the fencing in between the brick columns?
We're gonna have to design those. They're gonna do something so that they don't obstruct that.
And then on the other 5 days of the week, they're just closed up and
Well, they do want to go to 7 days if everybody goes down there and buy stuff.
So the farmer's
but so
market,
on the other 5 days of the week, they're just closed up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like secure the building.
And are they open air or how do they actually?
Currently, they're designed to be open air.
Okay.
and is the farmer's market definitely the tenant for that part of the space or, okay.
I mean, personally, that concerns me a little bit, seeing how that's worked in buildings in other cities. You know, I've walked by when the market's not open and it becomes a great place for trash and other things to accumulate that don't look nice. I think on Saturday and maybe Wednesday or whatever other day might happen, it'll be really lively and exciting, but the majority of the time it won't be. Looking to a more modern solution, maybe some sort of glass
Roll-up garage?
yeah, roll up door,
Well, we
or
have,
something like that.
on
would be
the
nice.
Jewel there, we do have garage doors. We'll actually maybe make that a little bit wider so we can get 2 stalls in there. So we're looking at maybe making that another 6 or 8 feet wider. So there's gonna be 2 there. And don't forget, this is all rental. So if they want to come in and put glass doors there, they're more than, able to do that.
Yeah, but a single vendor couldn't do that if the farmer's market was the vendor or
Oh, right.
the tenant. So I think putting that in initially would be a much stronger approach. It'd make the whole structure look a lot cleaner. And we're not talking about a farmer's market that is projected to open 5 days a week next year or in the next 5 years. We're talking about the farmer's market that has been open 1 day a week for the entire history of the farmer's market. So I don't feel comfortable gambling on the farmer's market's trajectory of a 7 day a week or even a 3 day a week operation. The other thing I wanted to go to was the elevation on the 4th Street side and just talk about the street activation on that side, similarly to how we've talked about Broadway and 3rd. I think, there's a lot of effort that's gone into those streets and it looks really great. And you can see a little bit from here, but also on the site plan that the width of the parking area is still quite wide. I'm wondering if there are opportunities on the north side and the south side to reduce that exposure a little bit more. On the north side, it looks like you could just wrap the building a little bit further. so that you wouldn't be able to see into the parking area right there. And then on the south side, again, this is the Fourth Street facade, that one parking bay there as well. So can you see into the parking area for like, I'm a little.
Right now, it's all gates there as well.
Right. So I think if you could just minimize that by those two, I don't know if bays is necessarily the right word for it, but you know, all the way at the northeast corner there, being able to see in at that one parking stall, I'd say pulling that wall in and wrapping the building would be nicer. And then again, on the south side, that other bay, wrapping that as well would be nicer.
Which was the south side comment? Where?
So just north of the lobby. I mean, ideally, I would like to see I think even getting rid of those two parking spaces to the right of the loading area would be even better. Or even one of them, just to increase the building footprint. I know that's getting more tricky, but having that, to me, it feels like the building or the project is successful on 3rd and Broadway, but then we're kind of giving up ground on 4th Street and letting 4th Street become this garage facade, which I don't think is a smart decision long-term for the city.
Well, the long term would be to hopefully get vendor stalls in there as well.
Yeah, and I mean,
Right
to
now-
me, it feels like this approach makes that less likely to happen.
Well, we would, like you just said, we would take out those 4 parking spots, build back wall, and there's, you know, then they can wrap. Right now, they're not renting that space.
So I know you're not in charge of the farmer's market, but is the plan to put the entire?
Just want to make sure you go into the mic.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, because it doesn't seem like it'd be big enough.
I don't think, I would be surprised if it was.
Anyway.
They let their street. I don't actually know.
Yeah, they want 30,000 square feet, right? So.
I mean, I tend to agree that there's work seemingly left to be done on the 4th Street side. That facade or that elevation just looks like less attention has been paid to it. I like the idea actually of extending the building and closing the gap, that entrance. I'm not sure what's set the exact width. You would have to probably pull parking spaces out of that northern row.
We can't afford to extend the building.
Hmm.
We're maxed out. So, you know, you have a 24-foot drive aisle and an 18-foot parking spot there. That's what you have there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be 18 more feet of wall is what we would like to see, or what I'd like to see.
What'd be nice is if there's a little knee wall, maybe, you know, with some gates on top of it.
I think especially on the north side, having an entire wall covering there instead of a gate.
How does that work, James? That part I'm not understanding. Are you imagining just a?
So where the parking space is,
Yes.
18 feet, that depth of that parking space, instead of having that be a gate where you could see in
Mhm.
that corner of the building, it'd just be a wall. So when you drive in, you could see there's a parking space to your right, but if you're walking by or driving by, you wouldn't see the parking space. You would see a building.
And the wall would be what? Just a facade essentially?
Yeah, whatever the facade is above it, or really on the other side of the opening, so that it just looks more like a building and less like a parking garage.
Hmm.
That's the idea behind it.
I mean, the concept was like shadow boxes, right? You create a 3-foot recess where you could display stuff in there.
I don't even think, no, that's not what I'm referring to. I think even just having it so you can't see in, that is not a
Oh, a
gate.
solid wall.
Just, yeah, for 18 feet, I don't think you need to shadow box it and pretend that there's a business in there or something like that. I think just having facade instead of a gate would improve the wall of the street wall essentially of the whole
Are you
block.
saying the very northeast corner of the building where the atrium is, or
Yeah, adjacent to the atrium. Is that wall already or is that gate?
there's no building there?
It's a corridor.
It's a drive corridor. That line.
But it
yeah.
would be like free floating in the middle of nowhere. And the atrium's not there.
No wall.
The atrium's not there. The atrium's pulled back.
Yeah, that's what, that's why I'm not under.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And then this right here, these gates.
Gates. Yep.
Yeah, those are the I misunderstood elevation, but I think, yeah, opportunities to make it look more like a building and not have this wall of gates on Fourth is my comment.
Well,
The north,
where's the site plan?
it's north up.
Yes,
Okay, so the north side of the easternmost 1, 2, 3, 4 parking spaces has nothing there,
go to the Google Earth.
right? We're just,
yeah.
you just drive right through into something. I can't see what's really there.
Or do you have a Fourth Street rendering you can
I'm looking for the
pull up?
I think it's
the site plan.
partial.
If you go back, this is what that would look like. It's this space here.
Right. It's really like back a house that we might want to conceal. But it's not part of this work area. I understand.
You don't by any chance have the old, from the previous presentation, the rendering that was done where you can see that whole backside, the south elevation of the atrium? Do you? Yeah. This one.
But that proposed wall is what you're going to see when you're on the sidewalk for that opening of to the parking area.
Yeah.
right? You're gonna look past your building straight in and just see this monolithic wall,
You would see this.
and that would be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
You can see the atrium is pulled back quite a distance.
The red, right?
60 feet.
The red part of it on the right.
So just throwing ideas out there, a knee wall that's made of masonry or something solid that has a bench on it that has trees growing out of a 5-foot wide planter or even a 3-foot wide planter, something that has mass
Yeah.
that is. And remember, right, we're getting rid of all of that seating space along the Fourth with this project. Just creating one little opportunity there at the break between new and existing. But now we're realizing that it would be freestanding. It doesn't return into anything
Yeah.
unless we can make it return.
We could wrap a gate from this knee wall back to the edge of the atrium building. To keep you guys out of the atrium. Set up a toll.
What is in that little nook? If you would go to your site plan, please, a rendered site plan.
The ISO view.
This, actually,
Oh.
I'm just gonna pull up my screen now. Or turn my screen around.
The aerial and yeah.
This little nook here on Fourth Street, what's happening in there? Or what will happen? Wrong device.
That's not our property, I think.
Okay,
Oh,
what's in there? Does
Brick-
anybody, I mean,
brick
you must
pavers?
know.
brick pavers?
It's just nothing.
Is this right? I don't know where you're referring to.
Directly across from the
Isn't that
post
David's?
office parking lot.
Yeah.
You look
Oh,
right
yeah.
into this little recess of who knows what.
Yeah,
That's whatever this is.
The atrium. And it is very strange.
You're talking about the concrete step.
The only way you can enter the atrium from Fourth Street side. And Sarah, I don't know if this is where you're going with it, but like if you eliminated one parking space or maybe 2 parking spaces from that corner,
Zoom in right
you could
here.
open it up into like this project can mesh into that.
Yeah.
If you just pull up like a Google map view of it.
Or, I mean, we can see what we're talking about on the, well, I don't know if they have. the-
Right there, top right corner.
Yeah, we were proposing to do some planters as close as we can get to the property line there, just to give it a little green, but.
You're talking about right here.
Yeah.
He's already
Could you, by any chance on your screen, pull the
Minimize
the box of guests to the other side. So we can see it, or just shift your,
So.
I don't
instead of
know.
having a car park.
Yeah, I see what you're.
It's fine if you can't.
Oh, check.
Maybe Eric has to do that.
You don't even see those guys on the screen.
Yeah, I think that's on Eric's.
You're getting the idea though. I see you're moving towards it. Yeah. It's in there.
So there's a.
Nope.
I don't have that window though.
Doesn't show on his screen.
That's so funny.
How complicated can we make things?
Can you move it to that way?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw a mouse appear.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
there
you're
we go.
already doing it, but maybe it's elevated.
Or
Yeah.
maybe parking spot number 18 and 17 are open so that you could have a more, the buildings or the properties, interact with one another in a more thoughtful way. I know you're obviously trying to maximize parking, but to have people drive up into spots 15 to 18 and park there, or rather when you're walking down Fourth and you're looking at that, I think it's gonna look bad.
Those green strips need to have mass to them.
And
They need to have
vertical.
They are meant to be planters
5 feet high.
or 3 feet high with something growing out of them.
Yeah, we'll break that up.
Could you find a way to make them 10 feet tall?
You don't want them 10 feet tall.
A green wall? Not the planter, but a green wall.
Oh, it's gonna be,
Garden wall?
have trees and stuff.
A
Oh,
living wall, sure.
I think
Good word.
trees would be nicer.
Something, just to give it height.
Yeah,
I think a 4 to 5 foot high planter with trees coming out of it, it's gonna block the view of the cars for the most part. It's gonna get the job done.
Good to move to, I'd actually like to look at the Third Street elevation if we could. And then the fenestration or the banding that separates the first story from the stories above. It could just be, again, the way it renders out, or perhaps the overlap of the story hashed line, dashed line that makes it kind of blend more. But I personally would think adding a little more mass to that band would give it some more historical heft and weight. This band here is what I'm talking about, this white. Yeah,
You're saying you'd like to see a water table on the transition between the stone and the fiber cement.
yes. Maybe that's just my 2 cents. Curious what the other commissioners think.
Where were you referring to, Roddy?
So on my screen,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
just see a running water table there. That's no problem.
there is already a band there. I'm almost thinking you just make it wider. This, see that?
Yeah.
It runs across the length of, or down parallel to Third.
On either side of this, is this the jewel?
Yep.
Is that what you're calling this? on either side of it, there's a strip where the building's recessed.
Yep.
Is there a intention there or like a function to that recessed strip?
Not really. Just to break up the facade.
Because to me, I think it looking like three buildings is great, but when those recessed strips are added, to me, it looks like it's three buildings and two halves of other buildings shoved in between them. Personally, and, we talked about this with other projects in the past where
Some I don't like it. This one I do. I think to me, it makes sense here.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think when it's just breaking up the facade of one building, it can look a little bit hacky, but here it does actually end up giving the effect of transitioning between the different buildings.
Mhm.
So,
okay.
but other tastes may vary.
So will the materials in the panel on the left match the ones in the corner building? No?
What was the question again, Suzanne? And don't forget
Yeah,
your
the
microphone.
Vertical bump out or recess. Yeah, it's a recess. Anyway, I was asking if the colors of material on the recess are going to be the same gray that's in the main body of the corner building. And he said no.
But the dark
We need to lose.
panel, I know. The dark panel on building 2, the corner box is the same as the vertical. God, I'm just gonna-
We're hoping to use a metal panel on the jewel. Everything else is fiber cement. So everything between the white and gray, like say shoulders of the jewel, is hopefully like a nice shiny metal panel. A little bit of reflectivity,
okay.
medium bronze color, almost like a bank vault. Somebody's bank reference earlier.
Okay. And I think we should spend a little bit of time talking about there was a street rendering showing for us in our presentation materials, it was page 1, which shows some booths. Yes, thank you. I guess I wanted to ask about how these relate to where the sidewalk exists now. Is this just inboard of where the curb line is right now?
These are actually out in the street if the
They are.
street was closed down.
Some kind of an event where you would close the street.
So those would be temporary stalls that come in and out.
And just for during an event that.
I was thinking about this project and pondering the idea of somehow using the sidewalk space to have stall spacing and figuring out a way to do a covered space and almost have like a passage, a tunnel that not a tunnel gives the wrong impression, but like a bazaar or a market space that goes between 3rd and 4th, connecting you like an arcade. Exactly. And doing something similar where you had that sort of space, those kind of opportunities, but on the sidewalk space that creates like almost an open air market for people to go through. I was just kind of, it's not really constructive criticism, just something to float by you. I don't know, does anyone else want to talk about specifically the use of the sidewalk along Broadway?
Yeah, I mean, I think ideas like that can happen outside of the project. One thing that I mentioned in the previous presentation was looking for ways to include streetscape infrastructure that would make it more walkable. Specifically curb extensions, I think would be appropriate as part of the project, bringing a lot of residents to this structure, and having a lot of new foot traffic there. Specifically, these are two one-way streets, so specifically where, you're making that turn from one street to the other is a more important corner to have that infrastructure on rather than the far side. Great. Great, thank you.
And maybe to that end, not that the architecture, but we are in kind of a tight timeframe to get the farmers market in next November, right? So procedurally, I don't have it set up public hearing yet, but I think it can fit with the last. So anyways, I'm just trying to, all good thoughts. And I think, we can address a lot of these. It seems like we're narrowing it down to just some finite things. But we'd really like to try to move the timeline forward.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. I'm also open to special meetings for things to facilitate this.
That's fine with me. When can we have the public comment period?
The easy answer is you could schedule a public hearing at your next scheduled December meeting. It's well within to have a special. I think if you looked at the calendar, it'd be a little tight with the holidays next week. You're already kind of into your next meeting anyway. Special the second week of December when your meeting is already scheduled for the third.
Sure. Fair point. So what does that do for you?
And listen, in a perfect world, we'd come back in December, we'd have these revisions made, you would be good with it, we'd have the public comment period, we'd close it. And if we can get approved by December, that's fantastic. That's ideal. That doesn't necessarily incorporate, but you're the board, so it's your comfort level and whatever you need or conditions you want to put on this in terms of a project, where you sit. But from our standpoint, architecturally, do you have to go back to the HRC with those changes? Probably. I don't know.
Well, what, if we were to recap recap the requested information was adding a thicker water table on building number 1, making the brick darker on building number 3. We already have the planters. Maybe we could show the height of the planters on the 4th Street elevation. On 4th Street. What do you mean by revisit it?
I could go either way.
Oh, well, we have the 2 roll-up doors.
Right, but replacing the gate with roll-up doors,
everywhere?
at least on Broadway, yeah.
Oh,
Wait, in vendor spaces, so that they're not open
Oh.
pits of
oh,
different activity when the
I'm
market's not
pretty
there.
sure they want the gates though.
Yeah, that's what farmers market wanted, but we can have that conversation.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and then the big elephant in the room is that facade on the south edge of the atrium space that we tabled discussion on.
Something has to happen.
So that's right on the property line. So it's going to be a 3-hour firewall. So it can either be masonry, solid masonry, or fire treated panel. Right, masonry, you're looking at $20 to $30 a block.
It's the cost of the masonry, that's a big wall.
So it's a firewall. It's the property line. Actually,
What's the material you're showing in that?
it's a insulated metal panel. That's fire treated.
Can we put a mural on it? or
Yeah, you can
something?
definitely do a mural.
Or articulate have different segmentation on it. Have it not just be vertical banding, but
That's
rather have.
where spanning from the top of the foundation to the top of the beam, that's at the top of the atrium.
I think it'd also
Yeah.
be helpful if you
you
showed showed it in the next month's presentation and included lighting. I like the idea of a mural, at least as a stopgap. More opportunities for planters as well along the.
We can make it a campus color so that it's a little bit easier, right? From your line.
I'm so sorry, you said it, but I couldn't understand. What is the material?
It's an insulated metal panel that's metal faced on the inside and the outside. It's going to give
So
you,
It's gonna look like prefab building.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Could I also ask that you do a little more with the Fourth Avenue building? Just, it really does seem like it's a throwaway. You know, you put so much effort into making that look better and sort of forgot about the other one.
I actually really like the 4th Street one. I think. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I thought they had it up for a second.
Yeah, it wasn't really in our packet.
What is the wall construction that's providing the 3-hour fire resistant rating?
It's the insulated metal panel. Clear Span makes a 3-hour rated.
So it's got
Insulated,
cementitious material in it.
Well, no, it's polyurethane that's fire treated.
That sounds like a really environmentally friendly material, doesn't it? We have never used that before. Yes, you're out of luck. This is not skin.
It's the assembly.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
They take chunks of it and assemble it.
Yeah, the question is, could you mount a skin to it?
They have carrier panels. If you wanted to mount a skin to it.
What was that word?
Carrier panels.
Carrier.
They make carrier panels. But I mean, everything costs money, right?
I think the
It
ominous
means
wall
something. I'm
costs us.
sorry.
The ominous
So you see
wall
what-
costs downtown Troy's economic development money, I would say. Maybe we become a tourist attraction. Come look at the post-apocalyptic architecture. The wall. Yeah, we'll get a whole big.
So
There's not a lot of wall that's evident when you're on the street because the building's recessed back and then our building's right up on the street.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to my comment about screening that parking bay, that 18 feet too. That would reduce the amount of the ominous wall visibility even more.
The trees.
That's fine with me. I mean, eliminating that, I think that loses that last parking space, which is also fine with me. What would be creative and another thing that we haven't discussed is transportation accommodation for other modes as well. So having some sort of safe and secure bike parking and, any sort of program that might take place to encourage folks to take transit. I know CDTA offers a universal access package that they team up with developers and they offer that to tenants. that's a comment that we received from CDTA.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, having indoor bike parking or at least sheltered bike parking, I think. would
Yeah, we'll
be-
have indoor
Yeah.
bike. park.
Is that shown on the? I have the same comment as the other facades is the one strip that sticks out. In my preference, it would go away. And it would be a consistent building like elsewhere.
You're talking about on Fourth.
Yep, the tallest section.
Well, what's going away?
Well, you tell me, but I'm talking about, yeah,
That's fair.
I think on this elevation specifically, it's more of an outlier and more, it doesn't really fit in.
That's the entry point for the apartments.
Right, I understand the visual cue to show where the entry point is, but I think it sticks out in a bad way. If it were more subtle.
What if you got rid of the dormer or whatever that is?
On the left or right? We're just trying to break up the expanse of the building.
Well, something to think about.
Perhaps a softer color. I like that it breaks up. I agree, you need to break up that length, but maybe it's jarring because it's such a contrasting color. It's all preference. It's all
Yeah.
just opinion.
It's all paint.
Is it just paint?
Yep.
Oh. And the roof line variation.
Would you guys mind coming, taking a look? This is what I was talking about. If you could hang off the facade.
Sounds like a good art project.
Something to break it up and segment it. Something like that. That way you don't have to change the material. It's just that find a cheap way to do something to kind of break up the expanse of it visually.
I'd rather change it to a canvas color.
Mm.
Quite honestly. And quite honestly, the only people that are gonna, I think, for the most part, 98% of the people that see it are the people parking their cars there.
I do think you're gonna get a sight line from it coming up Fourth.
Yeah, if you're walking
sure.
real slow, yeah.
Okay, any other comments? We've taken enough time.
Yeah.
All right, so, what would our next action be? Sorry, I need help with that. Andy,
If you think it's in a position based upon your comments and suggestions this evening to schedule it for a public hearing for the December meeting, you can do that. You can, pass a resolution setting it for a public hearing at the December meeting. In the meantime, I'll get you the date for it because I think it's the
21st.
21st.
does that sound good to the other commissioners?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have to make a motion on it, though, do we?
Nope.
Okay,
And to the applicant's concern about what can occur at that meeting.
Sure.
Theoretically, it is possible that the board could close the public hearing and take action that season.
Or keep it open.
Yeah, no guarantee that
Right.
they will.
It all depends.
This board has always been sensitive to applicants' timeframes and do try to work with them and have various techniques where they can do so, such as
Sure.
conditions on approval and
Yep.
subcommittees and the like. So they do try to work when there's a timeline involved.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that. And I think for one of the other architectural things that I know you were going back and forth with on another application when I was in here, I think there was a portion of this commission that made conditional approvals on final color palettes and things of that nature, where there was still kind of discussion on that. And so that's something to think about too.
okay.
Did we want to just clarify the procedure with HRC? I know that was a question that you had.
Yeah, do they meet before the 21st? Do you know?
Eric?
Or are you meeting with them before the 21st?
Yeah. Approval.
Oh, they gave you approval.
Yeah, one of the thing, I don't know who said it, but you had said something about whether or not you'd have to go back. In my opinion, the changes that we've discussed interest in aren't significant enough. I don't think the HRC would have a whole lot to say on it. But if you can get, as soon as you can get that application into Eric, and it can probably be shared with them and dealt via email or Zoom or whatever that you, I'm assuming is. Right, that's my point. Just to clarify.
No, appreciate that.
Good to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. Okay, that's all we had on old business. So we'll move to the couple items from consents that were moved to new business. Start with PLPC 2022-103 for 908 River Street. Is the applicant present for that project? Yes, 908. Hello.
You can come on up to the.
Come on up to them. Yep, please come up to the podium. Okay,
I'm the attorney for the applicant and I'm present virtually, by the way, as well.
okay, if you wouldn't mind, they have to state their name for the record as well, or name and address for the record, please.
Philip C. Miller, attorney at law,
Okay.
Computer Drive East, Albany, New York, 12205.
Thank you. So the applicant is proposing to convert a former barber shop into a retail smoke shop. As I understand it, there are some items around the property that we may want to spend a little time discussing, such as the curb lines and the state of the sidewalk in the area. I'm not sure if it makes sense to bring up maybe Google Maps view, or I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, with the area. So that's something you could help us with.
Here with it, Your Honor. All right, Commissioner, we are familiar with it, Chairman.
Great.
Change.
We anticipate is there'll be no dramatic change. There'll be no change to the outside of the building, the exterior, just a lease. It's a residential space. The essential character of the use, as you, I believe, already understand, is walk-in retail. We don't anticipate a great difference in clientele. We would guess 100 customers per day, but that's a guess, it's speculation. As far as changes go, as I said a moment ago, we don't anticipate any great changes to the exterior of the building. We don't have legal ability to do very much to the exterior part of the building. We do anticipate changes to the interior, not to include, and I say not to include electrical, plumbing, or mechanical, HVAC. We do anticipate installing cabinetry, counters, signage, display racks, that sort of thing. My client and I have discussed what kinds of requirements he as far as running a smoke shop, and there's simple things like placement of signage. You can't have signage, you have to have a certain elevation of signage because you don't want to cater to children. The marketing property, or the what would be sold on the property, or tobacco products, and directed to children. And certainly that would be a major concern, not abiding. And in fact, to help educate people that are getting into this kind of business as to what they must do, what they must not do, proper procedures to follow day in and day out in business, and staying away from violating the law. And my client and I have discussed that, and I will assist him in doing whatever needs to be done to avoid that. As we have a picture of the parking area there, there's more than adequate parking. Tobacco products are things people stop in and they get a package of cigarettes or cigars or whatever it is they're going to smoke that day. Well, I shouldn't say, we've just changed marijuana law, so I shouldn't say whatever they're going to smoke that day, but things that they're going to buy at a retail store of this nature. They stop in, buy a package of cigarettes, cigars, get in their car and drive back out. So I believe there's more than adequate parking for what the store is going to be marketing, going to be selling.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you to the applicant for hanging on through the last presentation and bearing with us while we got to new business here. I guess my primary concern is around the entrance there and the paving over of the sidewalk. By no means do I intend to overburden the applicant, especially since they're not planning anything in terms of exterior improvements, but I do think that this is an item we should address. And would like to hear the other commissioner's position on that. The sidewalk, there's really two sidewalks that have been paved over. It's the sidewalk that feeds out onto 101st Street, and then as well the sidewalk out onto River. Both of them seem to have had blacktop over them, and then the curb line, the curb I think on River would ideally
Eric, can you
extend
go around
through.
on the map?
Extend through the drive on River.
Just on River Street, yeah.
Excuse me, the applicant is not the property owner, correct?
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing.
The applicant is not the building owner.
No, it is not. No, 908 River Street LLC is the building owner. The applicant has no ability to do anything as far as the exterior part of the building goes. And that would include, of course, the parking area and the sidewalk area. Mr. Carr and I discussed the concern that the sidewalk has been paved over. I suggested to him, or I questioned him as to if you put first of all, the cost in putting a sidewalk in, you got to tear up the blacktop. The cost in putting a new sidewalk in is going to be, I think, absolutely prohibitive. But building materials, the cost of building materials are just people aren't even builders aren't even signing contracts to build houses anymore because the building materials costs have just gone so far out of reach. I don't know. I think that would, again, the building owner, I believe, is there or he intended to be there tonight. He can address this. But as far as the applicant's concerned, we have no legal ability to do anything. We can drive over it. We can drive back over it. We have no ability to do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's specifically the concern, I think, is that you can drive over it. That's the problem, you know, having the sidewalk blacktopped over and having no physical buffer between pedestrians and the parking area. It actually expands you know, we have been sensitive to this sort of issue before in the past with applicants who don't own the property, doing something simple like planters that are, you know, temporary, that could be moved in the case of an emergency or when the applicant, the tenant leaves the property. Those are pretty simple and straightforward fixes. Sarah, did you want to continue your thought about the tenant ownership thing? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Didn't you address now?
What was that, Phil?
Are you addressing me now or?
Yes, I'm addressing you on this concern specifically.
Well, I don't know if the curb is extended here or not. I mean, I see the photograph and it appears that maybe the paving over the sidewalk, which was beyond the curb cut. I'm not sure. You'd have to go dig through of the property to see. But as far as putting planters and that sort of thing, I certainly discussed that with my client. I'd be very concerned about because of the liability issue. You've got things out there that people can hit, and if they can hit them, they will hit them. And now the question is going to come down to who put that out there? Why'd you put it out there? Why didn't you put signs around it? Why didn't you put lights around it? Why didn't you do painted it?
Are you planning on removing the planter on the right of the screen as well then to avoid liability on that one? Or is that one not a concern?
Well, it's all, these things are always a concern, but that's, you take them as you find them, that's there. We can't do anything about that. Putting a new planter, something else there on the ledge. We look at this to the left of the, well, you see where the pavement is disrupted there. It looks like it's chipped away or something, the blacktop. Then you begin to see the sidewalk area. putting something in that area, then I think, yeah, I think you're looking for liability problems. Again,
I think it's safer to have a planner be in the way of harm than a pedestrian.
Especially when, if a pedestrian is hit here, we're on the record talking about the pedestrian concern, I think you're gonna have a much bigger liability concern on your hands, but I'm not an attorney. I think it's
can I just address that for a second?
for this sort of issue would to be, again, they can be temporary planters that can be moved after, if the tenant leaves this property in years to come, but having some sort of physical buffer there and on River Street, I think is a simple fix for this issue.
Could I ask, is the building owner there and present?
He didn't show up.
No, they're not here.
So just to confirm, gentlemen, Phil is your attorney.
I'm sorry?
Your clients are here, sir.
Yes, oh no, I could see them, but I didn't know if the building owner was there. I discussed the need for him to be there. And I believe the tenant also discussed that with him. But he apparently had other commitments or didn't seem fit to be here.
These are the moments at which these sort of issues can be addressed. I mean, it's at changes of use and things like this where property discussions occur and their interaction with the city happens. So, I mean, I understand that it places some level of burden on the owner or the applicant to address these concerns, but there's also actual issues here that we're looking to be resolved.
My understanding also, and unfortunately, the building owner not being there, I spoke with the building owner and I spoke with my client, the tenant. Apparently, the owner has made some changes to the property, favorable changes to the property. I believe he's changed the color of the building. And he's also striped the parking lot. Now, I don't know that for a fact. I haven't seen it. And you're looking at a Google map of the property, which is probably, I don't know, who knows how old that is.
This is from June 2000 of this year, June of this year.
2022.
Well,
yeah.
when I spoke to the building owner, I'm going to say we could have 2 weeks ago. And my client, the tenant or the proposed tenant, also said the same thing. The changes were being made at that time. So I don't think what we're seeing now is accurate. I'm not saying that it's going to change the curb cut issue at all, because it's not. I would be amazed if it did. I don't think it does. But the appearance of the building and the parking lot area, I think, is not what we are seeing. It may not be accurate.
City staff is confirming that it has stripes, so that's definitely a positive from our perspective. But the curb cut is still a little concerning that you've got essentially the better part of that block where somebody could just turn into the parking lot into a pedestrian walking on what should be a sidewalk.
Especially with the way that Phil has characterized the use of the building, with people driving in and out quickly to get one item, 2 items. I mean, I don't have any problem with the use or other components of the project. This is the key issue here that we're looking for a way for the applicant to remedy.
Would you be willing to talk to the owner about the possibility of putting some planters or something there to just shore up that sidewalk so that people are not at risk of cars driving into the lot from that angle?
Well, hold on just a moment, please. I certainly understand, and I wasn't able to see exactly this view before or clarity. I see exactly what you're talking about here. It does look as though the curb cut is not contiguous with the blacktop. It appears that the blacktop just spilled over onto the sidewalk area. I didn't see that before. So I do more understand now exactly what we're talking about.
Eric, will you bring it around to River Street too, so Phil can see
Yeah,
that side?
it's the same, just so you know, on River. Yep.
Well, that's the same view, isn't it? No, I guess it isn't the same view.
It
So
sounds
this
like
is
that
the
was
River
a
Street side.
previously approved site plan allowed for the blacktop to be made contiguous with River Street. on that side. So
This is in 2005, before this review. You know what I mean? I don't know how relevant that approval is now.
yeah, so the question becomes, which things do we want to see remedied here?
Yeah.
The struggle you have, though, is that the person who has the ability to remedy those things isn't present.
Right.
With all due respect, that's not our struggle, though. We have conditions that would need to be made.
Struggle in an aggregate. It's not your struggle.
But I would also say that the applicant is capable of remedying this issue. I mean, I understand they have terms that say they can't make permanent changes to the exterior, but they make.
Could I just stop you there for a second?
Sure. Phil.
Again, I mean, I don't want to be misunderstood here. The applicant does not have the ability to make these changes in and of himself. He has no control over the exterior part of the building. What I'm suggesting that, as I understand this more clearly, I would be willing to go back to the landlord and say, listen, this is a situation. You want to rent the property, but you're not going to rent the property unless you join with the tenant and make these changes.
That sounds great.
It's going to come down to how badly do you want to rent the property, or how badly, or how much would you not want to see it rented and just sit there vacant? So I'm willing to do that. But again, the tenant has zero legal ability to make any changes. If we put planters out in the parking lot, the landlord could well come along and say, that's not your space. You've got to remove those.
Absolutely. We understand you don't have the ability to say yes to that tonight, so.
My guess is James meant it from a financial burden standpoint, that a planter box would be more tenable.
Also, if I were in a similar position, I think I would be trying to work something out with the owner to remedy that from my power, using all the tools that I have in my toolbox.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're sounds like we're amenable to that.
So would it be okay then if we adjourn this to next month's meeting and you can discuss with the owner whether or not that would be an agreeable compromise to work something out, to put planters there?
Are there any other issues that we need to deal with here? So I can, if there's other issues that we need to deal with, I would like to present those as one package and get a final resolution. So hopefully we could bring this back to the commission. And if they're remedied to the satisfaction of the commission, we get approval at that time. My client, unfortunately, signed the lease. I didn't represent him at the time. He signed the lease. He's paying rent on property that he can't use. And that, so every day that goes by, he's spending money. He's, I would say, wasting, but that's what it really comes down to. He can't use the property. So what I'd like to do is try to expedite this as much as possible. And one way to do that is, if possible, if there's other issues, if those could please be addressed right now, so I can go to the landlord and say, this is the situation. If not, if there's just the planners, absolutely, I will do that. I will do that. I've been kind of laid up with an issue here, but I will do that and report back to you at the next meeting.
So the issue, as we've been discussing it, is the sidewalk going through the drives. And then technically the second issue would be the curb itself. I think it should be going continuous rather through the drive, but flush.
Yeah, and for the scale of just the change of use, I think having the planters that prevent people from driving over the sidewalk is the minimum I'd like to see. I don't think we need to.
I think I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Anybody else?
It's agreeable. That's what we will do.
The only other thing I just want to say with other smoke shops, there's a common issue throughout the city where the windows of the building become covered with advertisements and signs and things like that. And I know you talked a little bit, Phil, about signage and advertisements and wanting to keep that limited and following different rules for advertising to different people. But I just wanted to state that now that's an ongoing issue that we see across the city. And we're hoping that, the applicants are aware of this and will have their windows open and clear so people can see in and out.
Well, I've run into this issue a number of different times. I haven't had a chance to examine city code to see if you have a signage code signage requirements, but I do understand, and I see that in a number of different retail spaces. So we are aware of that.
In addition to the proposed site plan changes, you're asking the attorney to pass along, do you also want to convey a request that the property owner appear so these things can be discussed in person? He can't require, it's not his client, can't require him to attend, but he can convey a message from you that you would like to speak to the
Even
property
on
owner directly.
Zoom.
Yeah,
If I understand you correctly, you're asking if I'll make a second attempt, and yes, I will.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Phil.
thank you.
Thank you, Phil. So,
Thank you. Eric, thank you for your help.
okay, we'll be tabling this to the next planning commission meeting.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
You'll be on the agenda for December 21st. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The last item moved to new business was for PLPC 2022-105, 400 River Street. Is the applicant here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm here virtually, and I think Ken from SRA is there as well.
He was. I don't
Did
see.
he take off?
You may have taken out.
Okay. No worries. I'll
Would you mind giving us an overview?
yep. Do you need me to state my name or anything
Yes.
of that nature?
Name and record, or an address for the record.
Yep. It's Robert Curto with BBL Construction Services, 302 Washington Ave Extension, Albany, New York.
Thank you.
And do you want to start with the overview?
Yeah, so we presented, we plan on upgrading and taking this vacant building and putting in 12, I think it's zoned the same, putting in 12 apartment units, market rate. And we did present to the Historical Society last week because our intent is to just refresh the facade and put in new windows on the exterior. So right now on the first floor, we do not have a tenant, so the commercial space will stay vacant at this present time. The goal being that once people see activity happening there, that we may entice a tenant to come on board while we're under construction. That's a quick overview. I don't know what you guys have in front of you. A lot of the paperwork we had submitted was more pertaining to the Historical Society because we are in the Troy Historical District. So my understanding was planning approval was not needed because use was staying the same, but I could be mistaken with that. So
Street view.
So in
400
our
River
staff
Street.
report that we're looking at, it says that you're just using the existing parking. Is that the area just to the south of this building?
yeah, so there was no new or additional parking intended, so the parking would, a portion of that parking, most of it would be street parking, I think, and then a portion of the parking would be that little triangular space on the, I'm gonna call it the south face of the building.
Right. I mean, personally, I think this area really sticks out. And now, having the opportunity where the building is going to come online and you're going to have new street activation with people coming in and out of the building. I was hoping there's be some opportunities to improve the interaction between this parking area and the sidewalk. I know that it's pretty limited because it is such a small footprint, but maybe even just that very southern strip where there's, it looks like you have 6 parking stalls here, or maybe 7 parking stalls. That strip to the south, is there anything that we can do there to buffer that space and make it look a little bit nicer?
Yeah, just we do have a site plan that I might be able to share from my laptop.
That'd be great.
We're really doing any other site improvements other than making utility connections, but let me pull that up so at least maybe we can mark up a drawing and talk through that. So bear with me here.
was just really confused because a different building photograph.
Yeah.
was Included in the packet, and so I was waiting until now to find out what are we really reviewing.
Okay.
What,
I have no idea what the building that they photoed. Yeah.
oh, okay, some of the buildings in the packet, they asked us to show, sorry, guys, the historical committee asked us to show where the window that we were intending on using had been used on other projects.
Oh,
Okay,
As you said it, I put 2 and 2 together.
sorry about that. So that one is, we used that window. We didn't personally, but SRA had used the window we're proposing at, I think that's a college, Excelsior College up in Saratoga.
All right.
So,
what are you guys looking at over
Okay,
there?
so let me see if I can share my screen really quick here. Can you guys see that?
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay. So I guess this is the site. We are intending on making utility connections along King Street, thus removing and replacing 3 or 4, I guess, I'm gonna call it 3 or 4 channels of sidewalk along there. I think we are open to, we want a street appeal with this building, right? It is market rate apartments. We're trying to revitalize this property, or at least our owner is, to entice tenants that are going to contribute to the city, right? He's looking to bring in more of a higher end clientele, I'm going to call it, or professional clientele. So we are open to suggestions or thoughts there. Keeping financial impacts in mind. So yeah, I'm open-minded to the parking. Having that off-street parking is ideal for enticing tenants, correct? So there's 12 units, thus not every space would be available to the tenants. So
Yeah, I understand. I mean, one can dream about a day where a building will come back in this space like it historically was, but in a realistic context for today, just the space, I guess we'll call it a semicircle all the way on the left, or crescent all the way on the left, which intersects with, it looks like, the property line. Having some sort of street activation there, maybe it's similar to what we talked about. I don't know if you were on the call a couple times ago with the atrium, but just having a, maybe it's a 4-foot high or 3-foot high knee wall with, a space for plantings in there. Maybe 1 or 2 deciduous trees, small deciduous trees would fit nicely. And just softening up that space and providing a buffer, I think, would go a long way.
okay.
Can I ask a question real quick? I'm looking at your site plan and I see the property line. James, are you proposing improvements outside of the property line, which would be in the city right away?
Both, yeah. Okay. I mean, in the same way that the parking spaces are up, straddling the property line, it's a benefit to the applicant and the surrounding area as well. And I'm confident the city will be on board.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, it may need city approval, city
Right.
engineering, because it looks like the majority of that Half Moon area is actually city property, not project property.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And
About half of it.
you bring up a good point. I mean, it looks like a portion of I'd have to actually look in the easements there, because it looks like half the parking spaces on the River Street side are in the city right away, I'm going to call it. So, but there's a note on here that's a deed, so I need to look into that some more.
Can you repeat that? There's a note on there that's what?
It says deed.
Oh, yeah.
In the second parking space from the left of the page. I don't know why that was on there from Lansing, but I'll look into that. So you guys are thinking somewhat of a decorative wall around that crescent and some deciduous trees, maybe some landscaping to just create a buffer between the sidewalk and the property in essence. Was that the ultimate goal here? Or?
Yeah, that would be fine.
But yeah, the only thing I would, I'll definitely bring that back to the project team and also circle back with the city engineering to verify that there's no further easements or concerns there. I do know that during approvals, we wanted, for what it's worth, we wanted to take some sidewalk permits, barricade permits up to the corner. And the fire department was worried about view coming around that turn for traffic. So we might be limited on how far out we can put that, but if it's only 4 foot, I would believe that a typical driver could see over that. So
Yeah, can you, I don't know, we can see your cursor, correct? If you could just show us what you're referring to.
So right here, we're going to put the barricade permit. Actually, I can draw on here. So we applied for a barricade permit out to here along King Street. And they did not allow us to go. They wanted it pulled back to almost the building corner, like right here. That was for view shed for traffic on the turn. I'm gonna call it. So
Wow, that's strange to me.
And how tall
Yeah.
would it have been?
so I guess my concern is make sure it's not tall enough to prevent your view coming around here. But I think if you're in a vehicle, you're past that anyways. So I don't
Well,
know.
the yield at that intersection, you would make that left turn and then you would yield before making the next left onto King.
Pretty much out here
Yeah.
past the wall, right?
You get into the slip lane first, and then that
Yeah.
view where the wall would be irrelevant,
Yeah.
which is also the case with the barricade permit. So I have no idea why they would have an issue with that, but
I know, which we were fine with, because obviously we're just gonna be working on some of the exterior facade here. We were just trying to take this space for safety, if anything, if we were right encroaching with construction equipment out past the building, but
right. And you weren't proposing moving curb on that corner, were you?
no, correct.
I mean, that would certainly create a more hospitable pedestrian environment, but I understand there are financial constraints.
So you guys are thinking something like that here, right?
I would wrap the entire space, so not just that crescent, but yeah, make it the actual semicircle, like fill up the entire space.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But James, the border between the asphalt and the concrete is really artificial, right?
Right.
So is that shape that Robert just drew what you have in mind?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant continuing around and then, okay, never mind. Satisfied.
Just this with a 3 or 4 foot knee wall with a plants inside of it. I said a couple trees, but
Sure, and then so what happens? So those 6 parking spaces remain none?
that would not impact any of the parking. So
So they can stay.
yeah, six. It looks like they have right for access, but yeah, it wouldn't impact any.
Guys, and there's a possibility that that parking, depending on what we do with the first floor space, it does not become tenant parking in the future, but
What do you?
Can it
I'm
say
sorry.
training
What do
with-
you?
For the commercial space, is that what you're saying?
yeah, there's nothing planned currently for the commercial space, but I think we would reevaluate the use of that parking once we have a better understanding of what the commercial space is going to be utilized for.
Sure. I mean, that's neither here nor there for what we're expecting.
Yeah, I mean, that would make me a little more concerned with just the turnover rather than resident parking. I would also say that it should be back in instead of back out. Now that I'm thinking of it, but if it's resident parking, it's not as concerned.
Yeah, I think we would have, for the first floor, once we have a tenant anyways, I think that is going to be a new use tenant, so we'd have to come back in front of the planning board for approval. So we would, what our plan was for, if there's any intent to change that at that time. So I do agree with your comment, though, that it's probably more ideal being tenant parking to reduce the in and out.
Yeah, it's only a traffic safety concern, not a Parking concerns.
I have a question. The little one-story bump out on the first floor, does that have a actual function aside from being an extra room?
It's more of just a vestibule right now, so I think this is just my opinion that it serves as kind of a vestibule and focal point for whatever the tenant space might become there.
Does
Okay.
that connect to the whole space
Yes,
on the first floor?
yes,
It's not an entrance.
no, it connects the entire first floor space, so let me I'll show you what that looks like if
Suzanne, are you looking at the exterior image? Yeah, we're all looking at it.
Yeah.
Robert.
okay.
Yeah, this puppy.
So
No, I mean, I love this building. I hate that little thing.
Really?
I really do. But so I was just wondering if that was something that was going to stay or. Never mind.
Yeah. I think it gives it some character, but that's just me. I don't know, so
No, I-
that
Better than.
that
I'm
is
just thinking of what was there. I mean, I've seen postcards of what was there before and.
well,
Yeah,
I guess my
that's
understanding
still-
is historically they took down the front of the building. If that's not my recollection is they took the front of the building off the bank or something along those lines, and they kind of sheared it off there at the corner. So but that is a pretty functional little area for kind of a an entryway for the first floor space. So
Okay.
I don't feel this change is significant enough for us to need to review it as a group again. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So I don't know. I can volunteer to review it myself, or I think city staff is probably capable of reviewing it too.
Ken, yep. So no, I appreciate that, guys. I think what I will do is bring that request back to the property owner, because I think there is some merit and value there to doing something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of putting a little planter in the half moon. So, action wise, we would be able to, so do you guys want to make a motion for me?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve this project with the condition that there's a 3 to 4 foot high knee wall planter in this semicircle space to the south end of the project area. Understanding that it has to be approved by the city as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you. Yeah, because if we don't get approval by the city, we're kind of hands are tied. So
Yeah, we understand.
I
Okay.
second it.
Okay, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
I.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
0.
6-0.
Thank you.
All set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, thanks, guys. Have a good evening. Stop sharing. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Anything else on the agenda? Motion to adjourn? I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
You.